Hey Bookie, it's your girl Simone, and today I want to discuss all things journalism and give you a little insight on my journey as a journalist. So, before I get into the real harsh truths about journalism, I want to give you a little backstory. So, I've been a journalist for a little over 10 years now. I got into journalism because I wanted to help networking in a competitive industry, which is the entertainment industry. And I knew that being a journalist would put me indoors with people that I wouldn't normally, be able to meet on a regular basis, right? So I'm not gonna like put certain individuals' names out there because that doesn't matter. That's not who I am. But I met this individual about over 10 years ago, and he was creating, or not even really creating because he already created it, but he had a magazine company, and I kind of helped him get that company, his magazine company, off the ground. And during that time, I was like, okay, I know being a filmmaker is extremely hard, to do, especially in this industry. It's super, 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 super hard to get into. So I was like, let me like kind of utilize my connections that I have with this being a journalist. And then hopefully later on when I have like, enough connections, I can like, hopefully pitch some ideas or certain doors will be opened. So this individual, let's just call him B. So I started helping B out. I would literally like do a lot of work for free. I helped him edit articles that was being submitted. I wrote articles for the magazine. I did a lot of interviews. Just a lot of like, I would say personal assistant work, editing work, content managing work. And I did all of this for literally little to no money. Because I believed in this individual, I really gave him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe too much benefit. And not enough doubt. Well, aside from that, I would say that during that time, I definitely met a lot of amazing people, a lot of people in the industry, different publicists and managers and people that work for different media companies and music companies and production companies. I attended so many events and red carpets, and I got to interview some amazing individuals during that time of me being a journalist for B, right? Well, to make a long story short, I eventually started falling in love with journalism. I loved creating stories and telling other people's stories and really like giving people a platform to, showcase their work, showcase their talent, tell their stories. So I continued that, and I continued that as a career path. I knew that I wanted that to be ultimately my career path. So I stayed with B for, a couple years, and then after that, I was just done with his work ethic or lack thereof. It started to be really unprofessional, and it just became like too much. So I started reaching out to other companies, like magazine companies and other newspapers and stuff, to see if they, were looking for any freelance journalists or anything like that. Well, they call it freelance contributing writers. That means that like I'm not technically under a contract. I just basically like pitch stories and ideas. And then I came across a black-owned newspaper, and I've been working with them pretty much for about maybe 7 years or so. But just as freelance, so I'm not like working like, I don't have a contract with them. It's just freelance. But I will say that I love the creative freedom that they give me. I'm allowed to pitch ideas about black-owned entrepreneurs, businesses, issues within like the community. It's amazing work. So shout out to them. But yeah, that's just a little backstory on my career as a journalist. So now let's get into the 5 harsh truths about being a journalist. So you will be put in a lot of work and not really be compensated for the amount of work that you put in. So I think a lot of people, if you're not a journalist or like a writer, it's kind of hard to like understand this, but like being a journalist requires so much work before you actually sit down to write the article. So let's say if you're invited to an event, right? Which I have been invited to plenty of events. Even before you get to the event, you have to do your research, your why, your who, what, when, where, why. Who's organizing this event? What is it about? When is it? Etc., right? So you're already doing your research. Now, when you get there, depending on the team that you have, like maybe you might have like, a videographer, just people there to help you, right? Because usually it was just me and my iPhone. So I would go to a lot of these events with just my iPhone, just standing in the corner like, hey, hi, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so, can I get a couple, like questions or whatever from you or whatnot. So a lot of times it was just me and my iPhone at these events, right? And I'm interviewing certain people and stuff, getting quotes from my article. Aside from that, while I'm at the event, I'm just, scanning the crowd, seeing what everybody's vibe is. I'm documenting, like, if there were performances or speeches or if it was a panel, just things that took place at the event. After attending an event and getting all the information that I need, so even before that, mind you, you're still doing your research and stuff because you don't want to go there kind of like not having any idea what the event is about. So let's fast forward. After the event, now you're at home. Now you have to sit and transcribe your interview if you did interviews there. You got to sometimes go over like the vendors that might have been at the event and the speakers who might have been at the event. You probably were at the event jotting down notes and quotes and stuff. So it's a lot of like tedious work that comes before you actually write the article. So then after all that, it's time to write the article. You gotta come up with your titles, your caption for your photos, your captions, excuse me. Then you gotta get all the stuff that you have from the event, so all the quotes and everything and all your thoughts and all that stuff, you got to get that to your computer. So you have to put in a lot of like, I don't want to keep rambling on this, but it's a very intense thought process. If you know, you know. So let's keep all that in mind, right? So after you write the article, and then you have your pictures and your captions and all that, your title, which is the head, it's called the head. You have your title and everything. Now you have to number one, proofread it, making sure there's no misspelled words, because I have submitted articles where a word was misspelled or grammar or punctuation, and a lot of times it's too late before it already hits the printer. I double, triple, quadruple check my work. So after doing all that and submitting it, basically you're just waiting. Sometimes the editor will send you like a proof to see like, oh, how does this look or whatever. Sometimes they won't. So you're basically just waiting for that. But all of that work that you put in, sometimes you might only make like $75 to $100, $150. It just, if you're lucky, it just depends on the publication you're writing for. So keep in mind that's all the research you've done, the interviews, the transcribing of the interviews, the pictures, and the actual sitting there writing the article. Sometimes all you're gonna receive is maybe max $100. So that's why I say you really have to love writing and love journalism as a whole, because you're not really going to be compensated that much, especially if you're just starting out. So definitely keep that in mind. Okay, so second truth, journalism is not just about writing, it is about storytelling. So from my experience, I have been invited to like a lot of events, or grand openings or interviews or whatever it is, right? Where, how do I say this? Like, you can tell that, now don't get me wrong, I know that putting an event together is a lot, it's hard work, right? But you can just tell when an event was just not organized to the best of its ability. And that's no shade on the organizers. I know it's a lot, but you could just tell. And a lot of times, like, the people organizing events or managers or publicists or whoever will have you come to an event, will have media attend the event earlier than what's needed. There's been times where I've showed up to events at the time that they've told me to, and they were still setting up or just getting things organized. And I'm like, I rushed here to make it. It's just a lot. So, having said that, it's about like storytelling, like, you know, some events you'll get there and it's not really much going on. You know, it might be a few vendors or whatnot, maybe a couple people doing a speech or two. And then you're trying to get as much information as you can for your article, which you do, or you try to, at least on the best of your ability. And then it's time to go home and work with that, right? And a lot of times you don't have a lot to work with. So a big portion of a journalist's job is stretching. So there's been countless times where I've covered events and I've had to like literally like stretch what I had, because I wasn't given much. So third truth, a lot of your stories probably won't get published. A lot of your pitches probably won't see the light of day, because that's just the way the industry is. I've pitched so many articles that I think are amazing, because I 1000% believe in myself, but certain, you know, publications or individuals just didn't see the vision that I saw. So, yeah, aside from the pitches, a lot of the articles, like sometimes it's just like not enough, where like you did go to that event and you thought you had enough, you know, material or information about it, and you didn't, and you're sitting at your computer and you're like, this is just not enough. And then you just have to tell like your editor and the organizer of the event, like, hey, I just don't have enough, so I'm sorry, but I can't, you know, write this or publish this, you know. And a lot of times it's tough, but it's like a hard truth. Like, at least with me, I don't want to put out something that I know I did not try, that I know isn't my best work, basically. So that's a lot of times saying, you know, I'm sorry, but there's like literally like nothing I can do, right? Your editor is going to have the final say so in how your work is read to the world. So there has been plenty of times where I have submitted articles and a lot of my stuff has been omitted. Titles have been changed. Things have been like reduced in order to maybe fit like a certain like page or whatever. So try not to get like too butthurt if that does happen, because at the end of the day, you are working for said individual, and that is said individual's magazine, blog, newspaper, or whatever it is. So you try not to take it too personally if your article that you submitted might be slightly altered. A lot of times they'll alter it and they won't say anything. but it's just the way that it works. Okay, so we talked a lot about the harsh truths, but I want to give some positive sides to journalism, because it's not all just being underpaid, tears, and just being stressed out. There are some amazing highlights to being a journalist, and me personally, I have experienced a lot. I would say you get to be indoors that you probably wouldn't normally be able to enter. You get to attend a lot of free events. You get to see a lot of concerts. Depending on what journalism you want to do. If you want to do like entertainment journalists, a lot of times you will be invited to events to like cover and stuff. And you also get to interview like some amazing people, like certain celebrities or public figures or whatever it is. So that's always a plus. Seeing a free concert and getting, some free drinks, food sometimes, depending on the event and who organizes it is a plus for me. Okay. I would also say that seeing the joy in people's faces, or having those thank you text messages sent to you after you've written an article on their business or about, their client or their music or whatever it is that they, have going on, is always a plus. Like I said, I love telling people stories, and I love giving people a platform to promote whatever it is that they have going on. So that's always a highlight of being a journalist. And also, lastly, if you love writing, then this is definitely a career for you, because I love writing and I love storytelling and I love telling people stories. I love being creative. So being a journalist definitely gave me that avenue to basically showcase how creative I am and how much writing means to me. So yes, I would say those are definitely the highlights of my career as being a journalist. All right, bookies, so that ends my video. This was just basically an introduction to a little bit about who I am and what I do, and also giving those who aspire to be a journalist or pursue a career in the entertainment industry or whatever it is, just give you a little insight on my experiences. So there will be more content coming really, really, really soon. I'm starting I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna get into that just yet, but I have some amazing, amazing content coming soon, and I'm super, super excited for it. And like I said, this was just my little introduction. There's nothing extravagant about this. My background is just all over the place. This is just me saying hello. So I thank you all for watching my video. Of course, if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to message me here in the comment section. I will for sure answer you, or you can reach out to me on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is, and I will respond to you. As always, I love you, and please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, because like I said, I have some more exciting content coming soon. I love you all, and I hope you have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. Bye.